So your well-organized family camping trip starts out with you and crew rolling out late, the traffic being absolutely gnarly. You're watching the weather turn iffier by the moment, and you roll into your camping site as the sun is about to go down. Your crew is cranky, and you're trying to set up a tent that you haven't even taken out of the packaging with potentially no help. Yeah, sucks to be you. Durable dads, brothers from other mothers, and sisters from different misters, thanks for tuning in. Last video I dropped, I was hinting that I was going to set up the new tent in the backyard. Why? Because setting it up in the backyard is the quickest way to set up a tent in optimal conditions, okay? You don't want to roll into your site like I just described and try to set this bad boy up with not knowing what you're up against. Okay, so the subject, and I'll describe it later, is the Coleman 8-person tent, the waterfall, or the Skydome Waterfall they call it. There's a couple of things that I'd like to kind of note while we have the chance. One is why the Coleman and why the 8-person tent. Okay, let's break this down. First of all, the Coleman was a total crime of opportunity. So it was found at Costco, and it was price and availability happened here. Okay, first of all, it was 200 Canadian doll hairs, which is not a bad price, and it's family sized. And nothing says clean cut, middle-aged, married, 2.5 kids, quite like Costco. So I was there, needed a tent, and grabbed it. Okay, so why an 8-person tent? Well, the first part has been explained, price and availability. The second part is there's a certain metric that goes along with tents, as far as I'm concerned. One is that one person, well, times that by 2. Okay, so if it says a 2-man tent, it means one skinny man with minimal gear. So, and you can take that ratio all the way up. So assuming that it's you, your spouse, and the 2.5 kids, there's 8 right there. And depending on how high maintenance your kids happen to be and your gear, okay, you can see the point. All right, and an 8-person tent, so I'm describing this scenario because this 8-person tent is heavy, it's a bit bestial. They claim it's a 5-minute setup, but more on that later. So you're setting up, and you're setting up this particular model as a base camp. Okay, and yes, it's an 8-person tent, so really you get there, you set it up, and then you go on your adventures from there. This is not the tent that you're packing into a spot. You're not going to load this on a kayak or a boat, unless it's a big boat, and then go set up. This is something you set up and strike out from. If it was something that I was like hiking in to camp and doing it that way, the loadout would look completely different. But that scenario's farther down the road as I become more accomplished and my arc evolves, right? So right now I'm just working on the basics, and that basics happens to be this tent. So we'll get into the details. I want to set it up in a place in the backyard that needs to get seated anyway, but also it's been raked, it's prepped, so there's no poop, there is no sharp objects that could puncture it. Ideally, you're going to want a tarp underneath your tent and then one to go over top if needed. But at this point, that's not needed. We're going to set up just bare bones and see what the tent does. Flat, dry, free of debris. Let's check it out. So here it is in its final resting place. We did a reno last year, and this is the site where all the debris was, so hence the grass being a little rough. Estimated weight on this bad boy, 20 to 30 pounds. You can one-hand it and grab other gear at the same time, but again, I wouldn't want to try and pack this super far because it'll get heavy. Certainly not going to pack that anywhere in, so try to get as close to your camping site as possible. Anyways, that's enough chatter. Let's dig in and open this bad boy up. Silly me, I'm starting this journey out in mid-afternoon, which is the hot part of the day. Not the smartest of thinking, but anyways, here it is. Yeah, okay, so it's boxed. It's definitely not going back in the same way. The fly, I'm guessing, instructions or warranty. Oh, here's the instructions. Who needs those? Anyways, apparently, if you can't see, they sew them in. Dirty dogs. Okay, anyways, the art of this is to do this for the first time in a way that makes it look like you've already read or don't even need instructions. Let's do it. Ta-da! We don't need that no more. All right, the pegs are inside. Here's what we've got. We're already getting some dirt on it. That's absolutely excellent. Unbox and unroll. Talk about a double feature. Okay, probably the vestibule was there. Lots of pegs. The fly. More poles. Sounds like pegs. All right. Now, smart, before I try and roll this out, is to, oh, those are attached. All right, they said they were attached, so yeah, we do unroll this thing and lay it out with all set and attached. All right. Okay, happy campers. Okay, possibly happy campers. There's the footprint. There's the rest of it. It's pretty monstrous. I'm not gonna lie. It is as big as expected. It's a castle. Anyways, I'm glad they have the instructions, and I'm gonna go ahead and use them for my first time setup. Don't tell. Okay, first set of tent poles up. So it's half up for the base model without the fly. Pro tip is go to the other end, the end that you started, and walk the poles up as you go, and that's the quickest and easiest way to get your foot into the sleeve. Okay, time for the other side. Okay, part one complete. It would be lovely for the airflow to have the sides open and not have the fly on it. But this is the backyard, but it's also the backyard and, you know, neighbors. So let's assume that we're going to do the whole meal deal and throw up the fly anyway. It's got to get done. It's part of the instructions. So let's get at it. Okay, kids, this is where it gets fun. This is the fly and it's inside out. So what's going to happen is it's going to go over top. Grab it from that end and fold it over top, and then all you got to do is match up red corner to red corner. That does help, so it gets you situated. However, it's a little bit more complex than that. I'm gonna get on this. Okay, kids, I did match red to red. You saw that. Anyways, there's the vestibule. Those are the zippers for the door. Yet, that's the position of the door. Something's not right here. Obviously, I screwed up, so fail. I can spot the difference. Can you spot the difference? Okay, kids, that looks much better. What I've done also is it really helps when you align the fly and get it right side out. So there's the door, matching up with the door. I repositioned the tent. Let's get to it. I bet you any money that red corner will now match up. All right, kids, there you have it. In all its splendor, it's all set up. There's 2 twin air mattresses in there. Now, getting up and not knocking knees for 2 people is just about like barely. So you could fit 1 more air mattress in here, and that is about it. So I don't know about the 8-person deal. So what I'm talking about is 2 comfortably, 3, 4 would be craze balls. So there it is. I'll just walk over here and give you a little bit more of it set up. Footprint is massive. We'll talk about that in a sec. All right, boys and girls, there you have it. The tent is up and it's a monster. As I did show you, that 8-person tent is a bit of a misnomer. I guess if you shrink the volume and you do a little bit of Tetris, you could fit 8 people in here, but 2 comfortably, 3, 4 is a little much. Anyways, I don't want to make this video the content about how to pitch a tent, because there's all kinds of different content that'll teach you how to do that, trust me. So is it worth it? Well, you know what, I haven't reviewed it. So the chances of me testing this out tonight, probably pretty good. But I do have an early morning paddle. That will also be content. But you know what? I'm really glad I did this. I made just about every dumb mistake in the book. And I'm okay to say that I failed. I'm not going to do a time estimate on this, simply because it was the first time set up. I had no idea what I was doing. It's not like I haven't set up a tent before, but not this one. So it just doesn't count. However, I would tell you that setting this thing up, 2 people, I did do it mostly solo. I did have another set of hands for a minute or 2 with the vestibule rod. And I'll tell you, that's the part that's going to make you swear. The toughest part of the setup is that part. I would recommend doing, right behind me, you'll see the rod, or a rod that kind of feeds through like a strip. I would do that first, absolutely, and have 2 people. Now, running on here, 2 people is ideal for this. A solo setup is possible. I did it in the hottest part of the day, which is simulating some real world situation. Yeah, it was hot and sweaty, but could be done solo. I don't recommend it. I would say 2 people that have done this a few times could probably knock the time down 15 minutes or less, but this ain't no 5-minute setup. There's absolutely no way. Anyways, I'm here seated comfortably in a camp chair in front of a tent, and I'm getting the itch to do what this thing needs to do, and is a review and brew out in the wild and not the savages of the backyard. Anyways, I'm here. I'm continuing on my mission. The basics, big piece of the basics right there, secured. I can't wait to trot this out. Anyways, I'm here, guaranteed to keep the coffee warm and the gear dirty. Peace out, Scout.